A little sad. Little sad. It's one of our final streams. Maybe I should check to make sure it's working first before I start talking. Looks good. I'm sure you'll let me know if it doesn't sound good. Happy Sunday. Happy championship weekend. From the Mont. The upticks. Brilliant. I haven't talked to you guys in a week. It's great to be back. 2 games to get to today. 8 picks in total. We'll do a little bit of discussion on some of the line moves, everything that's going on with the market. We'll take a look at some of the injuries. I'm not 100% sure when our next stream is going to be. 2 weeks until the Super Bowl. So the thought process is coming off these games, there probably won't be any streams this week. And then when we get to next week, we'll start ramping them up. We'll do something on, we'll do at least one on props. We'll do one Super Bowl Sunday, but we'll have to have at least a couple conversations between the props market, the side, the total, and everything else that's going on. So stay tuned. Nothing for the next week though. It'll maybe a week from Monday, we'll go live and we'll start having some discussions about early point spread moves. Prop market will open up at the end of this week. So we'll get a bunch of that stuff and we can start to work our way through it. You know, maybe we'll roll a few short ones out where we do a few props every day, take some questions, things like that. Miss everyone in the Bay as well. You guys are the absolute best. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for still listening and following. Also, over 9.5 pass TDs for all 4 quarterbacks this weekend. Woo! Simple math, Fortenbaugh should be able to figure this out. So you need a little bit more than 2 per quarterback. Is there a set schedule for bets on YouTube? If you're talking about bet, are you talking about bet the show I do with Tyler Foljam? If you are, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Every week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. That's the bet schedule. So that's when we go digital. We're on YouTube, ESPN's app, all that stuff. It's free. You can find it on ESPN's Twitter channel, ESPN's Facebook channel, all that stuff. Yeah, it's every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. 30-minute show. So we'll be on tomorrow talking about the opening of the Super Bowl, point spread, all that stuff. What else is there? Also, we'll have something I heard around as we get close to the madness. When Selection Sunday takes place, I think we're going to have a Sunday show too, breaking all that down. So stay tuned for that. Super Bowl, multiple guests, 3 props, each prod you did years ago. Yeah, Sharp 600. Haven't done that for a couple of years, but thanks. Damn, there's a lot of you commenting today. All right, let's get to work. We got a lot to get to today. We got some good drinking to do. In-laws are still in town. They're from Buffalo. So this household is very, very pro-Bills today, publicly. I might be betting the other way, but more on that game in a little bit. Yeah, it's good to see everyone showed up this morning. Look at this. It's all friendly today. Everyone tried to bait me because they know I'm cold, so get all the picks and then go the other way. 1-5 last week. That would be last Sunday. The Saturday picks were great. The Sunday picks sucked. The Cleveland team total missed. Had a shot late, couldn't get it done. Nick Chubb over rushing yards missed. The over in Cleveland, Kansas City missed. The Saints missed. And Kamara receiving yards missed. The only winner was Jarvis Landry over receptions. 1-5. On the year, 165, 203, and 3. Terrible. And I'm running out of time. So we put that in the background. We put that in the past. And we get ready to move to today. Let's talk about weather. Weather should not be a major issue in either game today. It's not going to be perfect. You probably saw, if you're watching Daily Wager this morning, you saw Sal Powell come in. It's snowing in Green Bay. It looked awesome. That's supposed to stop. Green Bay is slowly but surely by kickoff. The snow is dissipating and moving out of the forecast. It should be about 30 degrees at kickoff today, which, let's get official times up here. 3:05 p.m. Eastern, 12:05 Pacific. PM, obviously. So that's where we are with that. The snow should be done. It should be about 30 degrees. Chance of precipitation, the game, it starts with about 15% and then it dwindles off to 0. So we shouldn't see anything. Now it's Lambeau, you never know. But that's where the forecast is now. Winds are right around 10 mile an hour or less. So it shouldn't be a major concern there, right? Cold, it might look awful, but it doesn't look like weather's going to play a huge role there. Huge role. right? It's going to play a role, not a huge role. In Kansas City, it's somewhat similar. It's going to be about 38 degrees at kickoff. Now, moving through the game, there becomes a greater and greater chance of precipitation. It starts at about 5% and then it ramps up, but it only gets to about 30% by 9 at night there, which is by the time the game should be over. So that game kicks on the East Coast at 6:40 p.m. Eastern, 3:40 p.m. Pacific. Wind there is around 8 mile an hour. So again, not a major concern. So that's where we stand. Should be cold today. Slight chances of precipitation early in Green Bay, late in Kansas City, but neither really should happen. Winds 10 mile an hour or less. So as of now, doesn't have to be a major concern. That's where we stand with that. Injuries. Tampa Bay. 2 bad pieces of information. Antonio Brown, as many of you know, wide receiver, he is out for this game. Safety Antoine Winfield. This just started creeping up the last couple days. He hurt himself at practice at the end of the week, ankle injury, listed as questionable, which means there's a better chance of him playing than not playing. But even if he goes, he's not going to be 100%. So keep that in mind, Antoine Winfield. Good news for Tampa. Vita Vea, the defensive tackle, the monster out of Washington. He hasn't been around for weeks. He's going to go today. How he feels, where he's at, that remains to be seen, but that's going to definitely help pushing the pocket, creating some pressure, defending the run, things of that nature. Green Bay, 2 names to follow. Defensive lineman Kingsley, I don't know how to pronounce last name. Kike, I apologize. He's out with a concussion. Cornerback Kevin King, questionable with a back injury. So that's where we are with Green Bay and Tampa Bay. For Kansas City, we followed it all week. Mahomes is in, right? So he clears concussion protocol. The Chiefs never called it a concussion. When he hit the ground, it didn't look like his head hit the ground or that it was helmet to helmet. Then there was this story that it was like a pinched nerve, which made him dizzy. I don't know what the hell's going on. I know he's going to play. I also know that I'm more concerned about the foot than I am the head neck, right? He could go out there today. He could be a mess. He could go out there today. He could be outstanding. But I don't think he's going to be as mobile. I think the foot injury he suffered last week that had him in the tent twice before the neck injury / concussion, whatever it was. I think that's more of a concern. Hi, Abby. Nice to see you. You're late. So that's where we are with that. He's going to go. Linebacker Willie Gay's out. And then there's a bunch of questionables. Bashad Breeland, the cornerback. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the running back. Sammy Watkins, wide receiver. Le'Veon Bell, running back. All listed as questionable. It looks like Edwards-Helaire should be good. I'm not sure about Breeland. Watkins is kind of iffy. And Bell, I don't even think it matters. Like, remember when they picked him up and that seemed like it was going to be like that? He hasn't done anything. For Buffalo, only 2 names. Gabriel Davis, the wide receiver, is questionable. Vernon Butler, defensive tackle, questionable. So, a lot of good props already being thrown out there. A lot of good props. Here's your line movement report. So, it's been interesting. We'll start with Green Bay and Tampa Bay. Green Bay opened last week as a 4-point favorite for this game. Much like, I think it was actually 4.5, depending on where you look. Now, much like what we saw when New Orleans opened as a 4-point favorite against Tampa Bay, there was immediate Tampa Bay money right away opening 24 hours. This one came down from 4.5 to 3.5. Packers sat at 3.5 for a good portion of the week. Some 3s popped up. Then some Packer money came in and pushed it back up to 3.5. And then this morning we saw it happen again. It's almost the same thing we saw with Tampa Bay and New Orleans. Early hit on Tampa Bay. Wait until the end of the week. Hit Tampa Bay again. Similar things happening here. Hitting Tampa Bay early in the week. Wait. Hitting them again. It depends on where you look. Some places have Green Bay minus 3.5. Some places have Green Bay minus 3, laying some extra juice. Maybe it's 115. Maybe it's 120. So it feels like the more sophisticated side of the business is going to be backing the Buccaneers for the second week in a row. But remember something. If you're just going to jump on the 3 blindly because that's what they're doing, you're doing it wrong. They're doing it at 3.5 and 4. So if you like Tampa, looks like the sharper side could be Tampa, but at 3.5 or 4. But I don't think that's a consensus opinion because when this line gets to 3, some shops are reporting they're taking big bets on the Packers at 3. So I think it's a little bit of a mix and match here. For the total, it's been slowly climbing up. Did my voice crack there? It felt like my voice cracked on total. The total? That used to be a big thing for me. I know a lot of people go through like acne and zits and all that stuff when they're kids and they're growing up. I had some of that, don't get me wrong, but I didn't have it awful. I had the voice crack. My voice cracked for years, into college, past college, ridiculous. But then again, I never shut up. So when you're always talking, you're probably going to be more prone to a voice crack. Shut up and listen for a few minutes. Shout out Larry King, passed away just recently. One of the all-time great quotes from Larry King. I never learned anything while I was talking. I love that quote. I love that quote from Larry King. One of the greatest interviewers of all time. I never learned anything while I was talking. So true for a loudmouth like myself, like I said, who's always talking. So that's where we are. It's been nothing but over money as well in this game. Open 51, has gotten up to 53. It was in 52 yesterday, and then 52 and a half, 53. There's some 53 and a halves out there now too. I don't know if any of that is sharp money. I can tell you that the public is going to like the over here. You're going to put Brady and Rodgers together. The public's not going to come in firing on the under. So that's your line move there. Buffalo KC has been very intriguing as well. So I'm following the Westgate, right? One of the most respected books in the business. And when Kansas City was leading last week, remember, the Buffalo game had already been decided on Saturday night. Buffalo beats Baltimore. So Kansas City knows if they win this game, they're hosting Buffalo. So in the second half, when Kansas City was leading, but prior to the Mahomes injury, Westgate put out, I want to say it was Kansas City minus 4.5. I think it was that. I know it was north of 3. Kansas City minus 4.5. Then right after that, Mahomes got hurt. And they re-released the line Kansas City minus 1.5. Then they ended up readjusting and they came out 3. And that's just about what everybody did this week. With Mahomes in doubt, they put 3 out there. Kansas City 3. Now, generally, prior to the news that Mahomes was going to play, the game would be off the board. If it was the regular season, you wouldn't have a point spread out there. No one would want to take the risk, right? But this is the AFC Championship game. The books want the handle. What's handle? Total amount of money bet. So when you hear the handle's $20 million, that's how much money has been wagered at the book, $20 million. That's the handle. They want handle. They want people betting. They want to give you a chance to gamble on this. So they hung a number. And they tried the best to limit their damage. So they have, limit their liability, excuse me. So they've got Kansas City sitting out there as a 3-point favorite. Right? This is before anything's figured out. So we talked to some bookmakers during the week. What's going to happen depending on whether he's in or he's out. If he's in, it moves up to Kansas City minus 3.5, Kansas City minus 4. This is what we were told from some bookmakers. If he's out, he being Mahomes, the line could swing as far as Buffalo minus 6, 9-point move. Others said Buffalo minus 2.5, which would have been a 5.5-point move. So Friday comes along and Mahomes is ruled in, right? He's ruled in. And the line doesn't budge. It has not budged. It's moved juice-wise. Books have kept it at 3. It got up to minus 120, minus 125, but they wouldn't go to 3.5. It's telling you a story. The bookmakers are telling you that if they go to 3.5, they're expecting an onslaught of Buffalo money. So they wouldn't do it. And now what you're starting to see is the bookmakers don't want to come off the 3, but it's coming the other way. They're taking Buffalo money, and now Kansas City, instead of being minus 3, minus 125, is now minus 3, minus 105, minus 3, plus 105, depending on where you look. So it's Buffalo money. Total in this has gone up as well, 54.5. So it's crept up throughout the week, especially with the news that Mahomes is going to play. I don't side with any of that stuff. And now that brings us to the big portion of the day where we start talking about some picks. Let's go in chronological order. Pick number 1, I'm playing the Packers minus 3. Second week in a row, I'm against the move on Tampa Bay. So be it. So this comes down to a variety of factors naturally, as I try to segue into the argument. Number 1, and I tried to talk about this all week, and I'm not hearing it anywhere else. And I wonder why no one's really paying attention to this. This is Tampa Bay's 5th road game in 6 weeks, right? 5th road game in 6 weeks. Against them, it's their 3rd straight road game, obviously, because it's the playoffs and they're a wild card team. 3rd straight road game, 5th road game in 6 weeks against a team that's playing their 2nd game in 3 weeks, right? They had the bye. Like, that's a sizable edge for Green Bay, in my opinion. Sizable edge. Number 2, there's this thought. We watched Tampa Bay last week. They played fantastic defense, right? They did. They were outstanding. I was on the wrong end of that game from start to finish with the Saints. But when you have a quarterback in Drew Brees who can't throw the ball down the field with accuracy and consistency, defense starts to creep up because they know they don't have to defend down the field. And that's what you saw. Tampa got closer and closer and closer to the line of scrimmage. They choked off all the throwing lanes, and Brees threw interception after interception after interception late in the game. You're not going to be able to do that against Aaron Rodgers, who's one of the best deep ball passers in the NFL. That's pretty much what it all comes down to. You take Antonio Brown out of the equation for Tampa Bay, and you factor in what Aaron Rodgers said earlier in the year when it comes to cold weather. It's not like they love cold weather, but they're comfortable in it. They're used to it. If you play in cold weather and you get down in that game, it becomes easier to start mailing it in. Now, no one's going to say Brady and the Bucs are mailing it in, but it's tough to come back, right? Back doors, all that stuff late in games. You saw it with the Rams. Eventually, the Rams were just at a point where it was over. Tennessee, it's over. You're playing in that cold weather. You just want to get the hell out of there. That's where I'm at. Playing Green Bay. Pick number 1, -3. I like the price. I don't think this is the same Green Bay team from last year. There are questions on defense for sure. Questions on the offensive line for sure. But I'm getting Rodgers at his absolute best. The team's at home. They've been playing great. They're rested. They're relatively healthy. I love what I'm getting here. Tampa Bay, 5th road game in 6 weeks. It's a tough one. I'm not saying I love it. I'm not saying this is a smash home run, but I'm not going to play the Bucs here. Green Bay -3. That's pick number 1. Pick number 2, I'm playing the under 53.5 in this game. I actually like more. That was my best bet on Daily Wager this morning. So it seems like no one likes this. It seems like this is going to be an over or nothing for most people, and that's fine. I'm going to play the under. Tampa Bay's path to success in this game is going to be running the football with Leonard Fournette, right? Ronald Jones is going to play as well. He'll get some carries, but it's going to be with Leonard Fournette. You got to be able to run the football in this game. And if you run the football in this game, you should have some success against Tampa Bay, or Green Bay, excuse me. Let me make sure I got the number here. Green Bay is 21st in opponent yards per carry. Cam Akers from the Rams averaged 5 yards per carry running against them last week. You can run against them. That's got to be the plan for Brady and the Bucs coming into this game. If you're just going to try to throw the ball all over the field, especially with no Antonio Brown, and you're going to try to get a shootout with Aaron Rodgers, good luck. I don't think that's the game plan. I think the game plan for Tampa here is going to be physical in the trenches and run the football. That doesn't mean Brady's not going to throw, but I think you're going to have a lot of Leonard Fournette today, which is going to lead into number 3. I'm going to play over on Leonard Fournette, rushing yards 45.5. Run the football, control the clock, control the tempo, keep Aaron Rodgers on the sideline. There are years, if you go back to some of those New England years with Brady in the playoffs, where he would just be masterful at the 6 and 7 minute drives. If you go back a few years ago when they played the Chargers, after the Chargers beat Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, and they went up there and I don't know, could be the year for the Chargers. Get out of here. Brady hammered them. I think it was a 7-minute drive to open the game. I think they had 2 huge drives early. It's just, that's what he's going to do. Short to intermediate passes, run the football with efficiency, grind the clock, read the defense, check into the best possible play. That's Brady at his absolute best, the cerebral game. I think the same thing's going to happen with Rodgers too. Remember, Green Bay ranks dead last in pace. Pace being defined as the amount of seconds from the end of the previous play to the start of the next play. Rodgers loves winding that clock down. Now, they can strike from all over the field, but again, Tampa brings a pretty good defense to the table. I'm not going to call them great, but they're going to bring a good defense to the table. But Rodgers likes to run that clock down too and check into the right play. And I think if you've got Tampa running, 2 quarterbacks being methodical, this is big, a big number, 53.5. I know people look at the quarterbacks and they say shootout. I don't see it. I think the game flow goes the other way. I'm going under 53.5 total points. So that's pick number 2. Pick number 3, I had alluded to it. Leonard Fournette over 45.5 rushing yards. Ronald Jones is healthy. He wasn't on the injury report at the end of the week, so there's a concern. But Jones was battling a quad injury. He was battling a finger injury, and he also had some fumbling issues earlier this year. And I wonder how much Brady trusts him. Meanwhile, playoff Lenny, right? Leonard Fournette has been good the last 2 weeks. He's averaging 18 carries per game through 2 playoff games. Small sample, but still, it shows you how they've leaned on him. And he's delivered for them. He's rolled up a bunch of yards. They ran for 127 yards last week total. This isn't just Fournette. The team ran for 127 against New Orleans. New Orleans is a top 4 run defense. Remember, I was laying it out earlier. Green Bay's run defense isn't that great. They're not terrible, but they're not great. You can run on them. Fournette, I think, is going to be the primary ball carrier. Jones is back, and he's going to see some carries. I don't think you mess around much here. Fournette looks fresh. He looks like a guy who didn't carry it 300 times during the regular season because he didn't. And if he's been playing this well, why would you want to go back to Ronald Jones, who, again, has had some fumble issues in big spots? I think Fournette has shown up for Brady. And I think he's going to get the lion's share of the workload today. And we're asking for 45.5 yards, 46 yards is a winner against a Packers defense that isn't great against the run. And I think the game plan for Tampa is going to be to run the ball today. So we're going Leonard Fournette over 45.5. That's pick number 3. Playing right into that, pick number 4, Tom Brady under 38.5 passing attempts in this game. I don't see the volume being there. I don't see the opportunity being there. Lays into everything I've been saying. Maybe you're down late in the game and you have to throw a lot. But early in the game, I think they're going to want to establish the run, which is going to limit the passing. Number 2, I don't think they're going to be in a hurry to move up and down the field. And number 3, the Packers rank dead last in pace. I just think total plays in this game is going to be lower with quarterbacks milking. Doug had this one as well. Love this pick. Thanks for watching the show this morning. Appreciate it. But I think it's going to be, I think there's the play suppression is going to be low. This isn't going to be a game, 2 teams flying up and down the field like we saw with Baltimore and Cleveland on that Monday night back on like December 14th, whenever that was. This is going to be more methodical. Running, taking your time, checking into the correct play, letting the quarterbacks do their thing. And I think ultimately to get the 39 passing attempts in a situation like that, again, maybe Green Bay gets up on him and Brady's throwing all over the place late in the game. But if it's close, Tampa's going to want to run. So that's play number 4, Brady under 38.5 passing attempts. Play number 5 has been coming down. Aaron Jones under 61.5 rushing yards for the Packers. It's all over this place. Aaron Jones under 61.5 rushing yards for the Packers. So Jones is a beast. This isn't necessarily a fade on him. It's a fade on the situation. Again, play suppression being number 1, which we've already talked about. Number 2, Vita Vea coming back. Big, hulking mass in the middle from the University of Washington. That's going to hurt the run. Also, if you've been watching the Packers, they've been dishing out more carries to Jamal Williams and A.J. Dillon. So we've got a good running back, really good running back in Aaron Jones, who's working in a timeshare with not 1 but 2 other guys in a game that shouldn't have a lot of plays against a good run defense. And your own quarterback is going to be the key to success here, Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball. Jones can factor into the passing game. I don't see him getting the 62 rushing yards, under 61.5. So those are the 5 plays for the early game. Green Bay -3. Packers Bucks under 53.5. Fournette over 45.5 rushing yards. Brady under 38.5 pass attempts. Aaron Jones under 61.5 rushing yards. Okay, that's that. 3 picks, not as many for the afternoon game, although that could obviously change if I'm in full freaking chase mode going 0 for 5 in the morning. So let's keep that in mind. Pen ink all over the hand. Pick number 1, I will be, shouldn't be loud because a lot of Buffalo fans in the house, I will be playing the Chiefs -3. I'm going against that move too. I think it's cheap. That's what this ultimately comes down to. I think it's cheap on the Chiefs. I think that a lot of people will point to, well, the Chiefs haven't covered since Halloween. That's true. They've been asked to cover a lot of double-digit spreads. They got backdoored again. They were blowing Tampa Bay out of that game. They got backdoored in that spot. They got backdoored against Miami. You know, they haven't covered a lot of spreads. There's a 3-point spread in the AFC Championship game, right? 3-point spread in the AFC Championship game against a Bills team who I love the story. I absolutely love the story. What a step in the right direction. Bright future moving forward. No bashing of the Bills. But I want to point something out. The Bills and the way they've navigated the playoffs has been a little different than how some other teams have navigated the playoffs, right? Like Tampa went to Washington, beat up on them pretty good. They went into New Orleans. They did what they needed to do. They're passing the eye test. With the Bills, it's a little different. Number 1, they were outgained by the Indianapolis Colts. All right, fine. Wild card game. They got outgained. So be it. Then they got outgained by Baltimore. In fact, they've been outgained by almost 200 yards of offense in 2 playoff games so far. It's not really a recipe for success. You know, that's not sustainable that week in, week out, the other team's going to outgain you and you're going to keep winning. In addition, how many field goals did Justin Tucker miss? How many field goals did the Colts miss? They have been the beneficiaries of missed field goals, failed fourth down attempts, failed 2-point conversions, and again, being outgained. The divorce papers, look, she's not watching this right now, all right? Everybody calm down. Thankfully, she doesn't watch this stream. She gets enough of this throughout the course of the day. She's not tuning in. So I'm going to walk down from this later, and when everyone's getting excited for the game, I'll put on my Bills t-shirt. I'll be cheering for the Bills. I'll be doing the whole thing. It's a whole dog and pony show here, all right? You don't look at me like I'm a rook or I'm a noob to all of this. I'll be yelling and screaming for Buffalo while very quietly tracking Kansas City. Not my first rodeo, everybody. Not my first rodeo. So back to business here. You're outgained in 2 games, beneficiaries of the missed field goals, the fourth down attempts, all that stuff. You scored 1 offensive touchdown last week against Baltimore. You have become very one-dimensional on offense. They're throwing the ball all over the place. Kansas City's defense is not elite. But at the same time, if you're going to throw it 50 times against them, they sit back and nickel and dime. They know what's coming. If you don't have the whole playbook open, they don't have to worry about play action if you never actually run the ball. So maybe Buffalo changes up the offensive strategy today, but I worry about something. The offense was only on the field for like 24 minutes against Baltimore. That's putting an average defense out there for an extended period. Big benefit, by the way, for the Buffalo defense last week, that Lamar Jackson needs 25 minutes to snap the ball on every play. Like, there is no tempo with Baltimore. They walk up to the line of scrimmage, they bunch, they have to get set, they have to check through everything. It takes 20 minutes to read the play off the armband. If you're running a read option and you can go up tempo, you're going to have that defense guessing. You're going to have them winded, gassed, all the reads, just the movement, trying to chase down a quarterback like that. When you give the other team all that time to line up and get set defensively, that's a huge advantage. Like, pick the pace up, Jackson. He couldn't do it. Kansas City's not going to sit around and let Buffalo get set defensively. And Kansas City's going to run the ball today. Newsflash. They're going to be able to pull it off. Buffalo's 25th, I believe, in opponent yards per carry. You can run against them. Everyone wants to go back to the first game between the two of them in Buffalo on that Monday afternoon. That game was in a monsoon, and it was a while ago. I'm not going to put a lot in that. But Kansas City ran for a ton of yards. Buffalo came out defensively and was like, we're not giving up the big play in the passing game. Chiefs were like, okay, we're just going to run for like $160 on you. Like, you have to pick something with the Chiefs. If you want to stop the big passing game, fine. They're going to be able to run on you. If you try to do both, they're going to beat you either way. I just think it's a cheap price. The Buffalo story has been great. And if I'm going to be wrong on anything today, I want to pick that. I'd rather be wrong on that and see them in the Super Bowl. I definitely don't want to see Brady in the Super Bowl. Main reason, I don't want to spend 2 weeks talking about his legacy. I want to be completely honest with this. I respect the hell out of Brady. He's the greatest to ever do it. I've enjoyed watching him. I don't want to spend 2 weeks talking about his legacy and what all this means. I don't want to hear about any of that. That's like the number one thing here outside of the gambling. Just keep Tampa Bay out because I don't want 2 weeks of Brady stories. That's it. Very selfish. Happy to hear about Rodgers, the Chiefs, the Bills, whatever combination you want to make from any of that. Happy to be a part of all those stories. I don't want to listen to the Brady thing again. Well, how do you think Belichick feels and this and that? Just I don't want it. I don't want it. And taking the Chiefs. Yeah, William, welcome to the show. Yes, it's going to be a whole thing. Don't worry about it. All right, so that's pick number 1. So Kansas City -3 is the play. Again, going against the move, but that's where I'm at. The 2 other plays are props. It's Josh Allen over 38.5 passing attempts, and then it's going to be Darrell Williams, Chiefs running back, over 36.5 rushing yards. Those are the other 2 plays as we wrap this up. I see 2 things happening that play into Allen throwing the ball 39 times. 3 things, actually. Number 1, I see them playing from behind. I don't think they're going to be running the clock out late in the game. Number 2, they're extremely one-dimensional as they've been recently. They love to throw the ball. I think they're just going to continue doing that today. And number 3, the Chiefs, whether they're playing well or not, move at an incredible pace. The Chiefs don't spend a lot of time out on the field from a time of possession standpoint. So opportunity should be there. This game should be the opposite of the first game. First game should be play suppression. This is going to be play volume through the roof. So Allen over 38.5 passing attempts. Darrell Williams, he rushed 13 times for 78 yards against Cleveland last week. I already told you about Buffalo's run defense being highly suspect, tied for 25th in opponent yards per carry. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is supposed to be back for this game. I don't think he's going to be a workhorse back touching it 25 times. I really don't. He's been banged up. I think he gets some snaps and he makes some plays, but I think Williams at 36.5 rushing yards, there's a good play on the over there. Think about it. He had 13 carries last week. You get to 9 carries at 4 yards a pop, you're pretty much there. 9 carries, 4 yards a pop. Break one off for 20 yards, you don't even need to get close to that. So against this defense, there's an opportunity. So there we go. About a half hour in the books. I want everyone to have plenty of time to get your bets in, relax, have something to eat, drinks. When the hell does this first game start? I feel like I'm back on the East Coast waiting all day. 12:05, so we're about an hour out. Yes. So excited for these games. Recap, Packers -3. Packers Buccaneers under 53.5. Leonard Fournette over 45.5 rushing yards. Tom Brady under 38.5 passing attempts. Aaron Jones under 61.5 rushing yards. To the afternoon game, Chiefs -3. Josh Allen over 38.5 pass attempts. Darrell Williams over 36.5 rushing yards. You guys are the best. Where do you lean on the over-under for the game? I lean under on Bills Chiefs, but as you notice, I did not play it, so there's not a whole lot there. Liquor store run, no need on this end. Tons of champagne. It's going to be mimosas and straight champagne all day. I have found that in years, my drinks to football Sunday combinations have varied. Obviously, you start with beers when you're younger and perhaps a little bit underage. I'm not advocating that or recommending it, but it was beers for so many years. And then I started having, many of you know, White Claw came into play last year on quite a few Sundays. And then some red, I don't know why, but I was living in Northern California, so I'll tell you why. Some red wine on Sundays. Now it's all champagne. A lot of times it's going to open with mimosas. I'm not talking, you might think highfalutin. No, Cooks and Andre. It's like $5 a bottle. You bring three of those things in, you get a little thing of orange juice, you're drinking all day. So it's generally mimosas all day. And then towards the end, it's just straight champagne. And I try to put some nicer stuff down for that. But again, your boys got to keep it up. All right, I got to go put on a show today. So you think this is the show. This is not the show. This is a conversation with people who like to bet. And I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming to this. Now I got to go put on the whole dog and pony show. Put on the Bills gear. We're going to go get them today. This is our day. Because they were very supportive when the Eagles made their Super Bowl run. Let me be clear. So I'm going to go do my part. All that stuff. But quietly, you know where I'll be. So if it's tight late, if you're sweating your bets and you're enjoying your lives, think about your boy. Think about your boy having to simultaneously cheer and boo every single play in the AFC Championship game. That's how I like to live. All right, that's enough. You guys are the best. Good luck. Next stream, stay tuned on Twitter. I'll let it be known, but it's going to be over a week from now. Maybe a week from Monday, we'll start assessing the prop market, but we'll roll out a bunch leading up to the Super Bowl. Props, all that stuff. And then Super Bowl Sunday, we'll have a whole thing. You guys are the best. Take care. Godspeed. Go Bills /Chiefs /Bills /Chiefs.